Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bexar County Court of Law number 6 in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. I'm Judge Wayne Christian. I'm our Assistant Criminal District Attorneys for the day are Mr. Eddie Villarreal, Mr. Arthur Reed. Our CSCD supervisors, Ms. Susan Gross. Is Susan on? Yeah, I see her. Susan, we're going to swear you in at this time. Please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. The cases I have set for hearing today, motions to revoke probation, cause number 673441, State of Texas versus Jacob Porter, represented by Mr. Brian De La Rosa. Mr. De La Rosa, are you ready to proceed?
We are ready, Your Honor.
Thank you. Cause number 670749, State of Texas versus Jaime Ramirez, represented by Mr. Milton Butler. Have we heard from Mr. Butler? There he is. Hey, Milton, are y'all ready?
I just got on. I just got on the Zoom, so I'm not quite ready yet.
All right, no problem. Call number 637217, State of Texas versus Trayvon Pradia, represented by Mr. Gary Barton. Mr. Barton, are you ready to proceed?
We are, Judge.
Thank you. I have pleas, cause number 641925, 642678, and 641340, State of Texas versus Jose Longoria, represented by Mr. Todd Coronado. Mr. Coronado, are you ready to proceed?
Your Honor, I need to confer with my client before we proceed, please.
Pat, when you send them out into a chat room, please.
Thank you.
Clause number 631669, State of Texas versus Jose Martinez, represented by Mr. Efren Torres. Mr. Torres, are you ready to proceed?
We are, Judge.
And clause 671309, State of Texas versus Dolores Lideke, represented by Mr. Frank Sandoval. Is Mr. Sandoval present? Pat, your microphone. There you go.
Neither the defendant nor the attorney has shown up, nor has she signed paperwork, Your Honor.
Okay. So at this time, we're ready on 2 pleas. That sound right?
Yes, well, Your Honor, Todd just went into the breakout room, so that plea is not ready yet, but Mr. Torres is with Mr. Martinez.
That's correct, Judge.
Let's knock out our pleas ASAP so we have plenty of time to do our MTRs. Let's see.
Judge, since we have pleas this morning, may I give my spiel?
Sure.
All right, anyone pleading this morning that expects to be placed on probation, if you will be residing outside of Bexar County or the state of Texas, you need to advise the judge prior to your plea. Also, if you intend on moving out of Bexar County or Texas, you need to advise the judge so that he can sentence you appropriately. You will be receiving either an email or a text from the probation department setting up your orientation so that you can sign your paperwork. If you have not heard from the probation department by next Wednesday when you wake up, then you need to call this phone number and we'll put it into the chat. It is 210-335-7446. If you haven't heard from them by 10 o'clock next Wednesday morning, you need to call that number and advise them that you are placed on probation and that you need an orientation appointment. It is your responsibility to sign that paperwork. Failure to do so could result in the judge issuing a warrant for your arrest. First of all, does anyone reside outside of Bexar County or the state of Texas or intend on moving? Awesome. Anyone have any questions? Great. Thanks, Judge.
You bet. Okay, this is cause number 631669, State of Texas versus Jose E. Martinez, represented by Mr. Efren Torres. The first document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference, which is a document that is allegedly signed by both the defendant and his attorney, Mr. Torres. In fact, Mr. Martinez, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Torres, as attorney for Mr. Martinez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions, that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Martinez, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Thank you. By signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney, so that in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Mr. Torres, as attorney for Mr. Martinez, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Martinez, are you a United States citizen, sir?
I am, sir.
And Mr. Torres, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
See what we're doing with Mr. Martinez. State, you got a motion?
Yes, Judge, the state moves to waive count 1 of the information and proceed on count 2 alone, which is for obstruction.
No objection from the defense. State's motion to waive count 1 alleging driving while intoxicated is waived and proceed on count 2 alleging obstruction of a highway.
No objection.
I beg your pardon, say again?
No objections.
All right, thank you. Mr. Martinez, in cause number 631-669 to the charge of obstruction of a highway, how do you plead, sir?
Plead guilty, sir.
And is there an agreement for Mr. Martinez, please?
There is, Judge. It's for 12 months deferred adjudication, a $500 fine, plus court costs, 24 hours of community service, DWI education, victim impact panel, CATSNIP, Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Martinez, in cause 631-669, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of obstruction of a highway. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation, assess a $500 fine plus court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety and New Intervention Program, and Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock at 4 blows a day for half the term, which is 6 months. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Martinez?
Nothing from the
Yes,
state.
Judge.
Good luck, Mr.
Yes.
Martinez. Thank you, Mr. Torres. Y'all are excused.
Judge, may I just say one thing?
Sure.
Mr. Martinez actually finished his DWI education course and his victim impact panel. Could he provide that to probation and get credit for that?
Okay, he's already done those 2 courses. Is that correct?
Correct, Judge.
All right. Mr. Martinez is going to receive proactive credit for the DWI education course and the victim impact panel, and he can present proof of successfully completing those classes to his probation officer, correct?
Thank you, Judge. Yes.
You bet. Thanks.
Your Honor, let me get Mr. Longoria. Mr. Longoria is supposed to go in there and speak with Todd, and he has not. Mr. Longoria. He looks like he's asleep. Mr. Longoria. Your Honor, it looks like he's asleep, Your Honor. I don't know what to do.
Everybody hold your ears. Mr. Longoria! Well, maybe he'll wake up. I don't know.
Wait a minute. Mr. Ramirez, can you ask a bailiff, a deputy to wake him up, please? I'd appreciate it, Mr. Ramirez.
Just when you thought you'd seen it all.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's probably what Mr. Stakowicz looks like too.
No, sir. I'm back.
Oh, Mike's here?
Yes, sir.
He signed in, Your Honor.
Now, Mike, we expect you to pay attention, and even though we don't tell you when you're supposed to be here, you're supposed to know, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do we need to relieve Ms. Kane at this time? Is that what we need to do, or how do we work this?
Well, I don't know that Mike got the very beginning of it. I think.
I'll just go on YouTube and get it.
Okay.
No big deal. I've done that
Thank you so much, Ms. Kane. We sure appreciate your help.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay, so we got Mr. Martinez, and we have no other pleas ready right now. Is that correct?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm going to send Mr. Butler in to do his paperwork with his client, but Mr. Ramirez is trying to get Mr. Longoria for us. But
All right. Are we ready on Mr. Porter's case?
Yes.
This is cause number 673-441, State of Texas versus Jacob Porter. This is a motion to revoke community supervision. Mr. Porter is representative of Mr. Brian De La Rosa. The first document I'm looking at on this case is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. It purports to have both Mr. Porter's and Mr. De La Rosa's signature on it. In fact, Mr. Porter, is this your signature on this document, sir? We got Mr. Porter with us?
I don't believe he's here, Judge.
He may still be in the breakout room.
Pat may have gone to get him because she disappeared as well.
And Pat had me as a co-host for a minute. That was scary.
We got Mr. Porter back?
Pat, I think Porter's stuck in a breakout room. You're muted. Can you bring him back?
I will try, but hold a minute.
It's like putting somebody on timeout.
Well, normally I can get main room, but for some reason, let me go in there and join him and see if I can talk him out of it. Hold on.
And Mr. Longoria sleeps on.
I see him now.
Hey, Mr. Villarreal, before I forget, I got a motion for continuance from the attorney on Mr. Iskro. That was going to be your #1 jury trial. I assume you saw that.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go ahead and grant that. I assume that's okay with you. This gentleman's in inpatient rehab, apparently up near Austin or somewhere.
Yes, absolutely. I spoke to defense counsel and we're in agreement to.
All right, great.
Hey, Mr. Porter's in, you're on.
Okay. Back on the record on clause number 6734441, State of Texas versus Jacob Porter, which is a motion to revoke community supervision. Mr. Porter, I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. In fact, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. De La Rosa, as attorney for Mr. Porter, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has a right to appeal the court's actions, revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. In fact, Mr. Porter, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. De La Rosa, as attorney for Mr. Porter, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, this is a motion to revoke community supervision. My understanding, Mr. De La Rosa, is that this is going to be an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Porter, in clause 673441 on the motion to revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
True.
Thank you. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Porter's probation? And I remind you, you're still under oath.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Mr. Porter has been reporting as directed. We last saw him as a jail visit on March 23rd of this year. There have not been any payments made on this case. He has a balance of $1,240 and he is delinquent $371. We have no record of any of his 48 hours community service having been completed, and we show no proof of enrollment or completion of DWI Education Victim Impact Panel or the CATSNP program. He has had one negative drug test. He has had one positive for alcohol on the Smart Start mobile device where he's currently testing at 4 times per day. On March 9th, he had a high BRAC of 0.022 and he failed to provide a retest. In addition to that, we also have instances where he has tampered with a device in that he has done something to the camera in which it does not allow for appropriate pictures to be taken. And he is currently in lockout on the Smart Start mobile device, which I suspect is because of his residing in the Bexar County Jail. His officer is recommending that his Smart Start mobile be increased to 6 times per day and that he be enrolled in his programs within 5 days. And I would also add to that he be in full compliance with the Smart Start mobile within 48 hours of his release. As for his criminal history, he has 1 prior arrest for burglary of a habitation of force. And this is his first violation report, first MTR.
Okay, Mr. De La Rosa, what are you requesting?
Let's see, when I talked to Mr. Villarreal this morning, we were in agreement on the mobile start to bump that up to 6 days to enroll him in CatSnip, but I think he's already ordered to enroll in that. And the only other thing was the substantial compliance was 10 days instead of 5.
Okay, Mr. De La Rosa, you're aware that I'm not bound by any agreement that the defense may have made with the prosecution. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
I would ask that we continue him on probation, however.
My concern with Mr. Porter, he hasn't, I guess he's been on probation, what, 60 days plus or minus? That sound right? Went on January 20th?
Yeah,
And he
he
really hasn't done or started anything. Can you give me some insight into why that would be?
I didn't really discuss that with him, Your Honor. The whys usually get a little muddy. I just, I go with what I see and, I ask and, so I really didn't go into that with him, Your Honor.
Well, let's ask Mr. Porter. He's the one who's in the driver's seat. Mr. Porter, what's going on with regard to all these programs? You haven't done anything. Why is that?
Your Honor, actually, I did enroll in the DWI class, and I was going to report it to my probation officer the day I got MTR'd, but I wasn't able to show him proof due to me being MTR'd. And as far as not being able to pay, I was helping my mother out with like the bills and stuff. I'm on disability, so I have a fixed income. I only get like $750 a month, so I really didn't have the money to work with anything else there, Your Honor.
Are you working?
Oh, so I'm on disability.
Why are you on, or what's wrong with you that you're on disability, if you don't mind me asking?
Yes, sir. I have lost function in my right hand.
Oh, okay.
So I got lacerations to my upper extremities, ruptured my artery, and a lot of bad stuff a few years back. And I've tried to work, but I've had a lot of repair damage on my body, and it's kind of hard for me to hold a job due to that. My knees get weak because I had to get my arteries removed from my inner thighs to repair the artery in my arm and my upper extremities. So I'm open to work. It's just I guess it has to be something with an uncomfortability of me, kind of sitting around or something like that.
Are you living at home with your parents at this time?
I am. Yes, sir.
How much money do they pay you monthly on disability?
$749 a month.
Well, here's one of our problems is you're telling me you can't afford to do our programs and they're a requirement of you successfully completing probation. So I'm kind of concerned about that.
Well, Your Honor, I had helped my mom out with some bills because she fell behind, but I am able to pay for the classes because she's all caught up with the bills and everything. So it shouldn't be no problem.
Okay.
And Your Honor, he is still active on probation, so his his case hasn't been closed out yet.
Correct.
And I also want to point out, Judge, that he has done 17 days since he's been in.
Okay, state recommendation on Mr. Porter, please.
Your Honor, the state agrees with probation's recommendation, but would add substantial compliance within 10 days.
Okay, Mr. Porter, in cause 673-441, the court accepts your plea of true. I deny the state's motion to revoke your probation in order to continue on probation with all prior requirements with no sanction at this time, although I have the authority to put you in jail for 30 days to get your attention. Will that be necessary?
No, Your Honor.
Good answer, sir. Altering and amending your conditions, modifying your Smart Start mobile device from 4 blows a day to 6 blows a day. So you're probably gonna have to set your alarm clock and wake up in the middle of the night and blow in this machine. So that being said, if you show me a clean 30-day period of time where you haven't missed any blows at 6 blows a day and there are no high bracks or alcohol, I'll crank you back down to 4, okay?
Sounds good, Your Honor.
All right, and I will not know if you've done that. If you do that, you gotta let your lawyer know, he'll let me know, and then we'll amend your conditions and bring that down. I'm gonna put you on weekly UAs, make sure we don't have any other problems. Show me 4 clean weekly UAs in a row. I'll put you back on monthly UAs, okay?
Yes, sir.
And substantial compliance in all other areas. When you get out of jail today or tomorrow, you need to register for every program you're supposed to be in, all of them, within 10 days. You may not start them within 10 days, but you're going to be registered. You're going to know what you're doing, okay?
Yes, sir.
Is that okay with you, Mr. De La Rosa?
That sounds good, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay with you, State?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Good luck.
All right.
Mr. Porter, thank you, Mr. De La Rosa. Go ahead, Sue.
Mr. Porter, when you get out of jail, check your email because you will have alternate conditions in there that will be sent to you from me via Adobe Sign. Okay. You need to sign those and return those immediately, and then reach out to your officer and let them know that you were in court today. And Mr. Fonseca will give you your new blow times. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any
Good luck to
questions?
you, Jacob.
Thank you. No, ma'am, I don't have no questions.
All right. Good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Porter, another thing I need to bring to your attention, you haven't paid any money on this case yet. You either know you need to start paying money or find some community service hours to do. How many original community service hours does he have? 48?
Yes, Your Honor. He has 48 to do.
Well, you need to do those 48, then you're going to get $10 an hour credit for any additional community service hours you do. If you want to do that instead of paying money, that's okay with us, okay?
Okay, I'll get on top of that, sir.
All right, you're the man. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You betcha. All right, did we get documents on Mr. Ramirez yet?
Yes, Your Honor, you need to sign them.
All right, give me a couple of minutes. I'll go print them up. Okay, back on the record. This is cause 670749 to the Texas versus Jaime Ramirez, represented by Mr. Milton Butler. This is a motion to revoke community supervision.
I'm not sure Mr. Ramirez knows how to get out of the breakout room.
I will try to get him out. Hold on. Hold a minute.
Hello?
He's coming.
There he is.
Okay, Mr. Ramirez, can you hear us, sir?
Yes, sir.
All good. This is cause number 670749, State of Texas versus Jaime Ramirez. This is a motion to revoke community supervision.
Judge, I don't believe, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see Mike down there.
Mike, you with us?
Yep, he is.
All right. The first document I'm looking at on this case is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference, which purports to have both Mr. Ramirez and Mr. Butler's signature on it. In fact, Mr. Ramirez, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Butler, as attorney for Mr. Ramirez, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has your right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction, unquote. Is this your signature on this document also, Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Butler, as attorney for Mr. Ramirez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Butler, my understanding is that this is going to be an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Ramirez, in clause 670749 on the motion to revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
True.
Thank you. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Ramirez probation? I remind you, you're still under oath.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Ramirez was placed on probation January 27th, 2022. He has not yet reported to his officer. He has been arrested, charged, and convicted and is serving a sentence on a new felony theft case. There have been no payments made. He has a balance of $775, is delinquent $576. We have no proof of completion of any of his 24 hours community service. Because he is not reported, we have no drug tests on file. He was not assessed any classes. I did provide you with a copy of his criminal history, which is quite extensive, and his officer is recommending revocation. This is his first violation report, first MTR.
Everybody agree that a criminal trespass on private property is a Class B offense? Is that right, State?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, and defense, you agree, Mr. Butler?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What are you requesting, Mr. Butler?
Well, Mr. Ramirez was in the 379th on March the 24th. He received a sentence of 47 days on a 1244. That was 12 days ago. However, I don't believe this motion to revoke was filed. I think it was filed a few days after he was arrested, so I'm not quite sure how much time he has on this day. But he's been in jail for 59 days total. We'd ask that he be sentenced to credit for time served.
I show 50 days credit that Pat would have calculated. State recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the state recommends revocation.
Choosing the original fine amount on this case was $300. Does that sound right?
Let me double check. I got it right here, Judge. It is 300.
And Mr. Butler, do you have a case number on the felony case, perhaps?
I do, Judge. It is 2022 CR 2887 William, or Whiskey and Army Talk.
2022 Charlie Romeo 2887 Whiskey.
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez, in clause 670749, the court accepts your plea of true. I grant the state's motion to revoke your probation. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail. I set the $300 fine plus court cost, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. This case to run concurrent with 2022 CR 2887W. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Ramirez?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Ramirez. Thank you, Mr. Butler. Y'all are excused. Okay, ready on Mr. Pradia? Squad 637217, State of Texas versus Trayvon De Pradia. This is a motion to revoke community supervision. The first document I'm looking at on this case is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. In fact, Mr. Pradia, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Barton, as attorney for Mr. Pradia, is this your signature on this document, sir?
It is, Judge.
Thank you. Next document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, as a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has a right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction, unquote. In fact, Mr. Pradia, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Barton, as attorney for Mr. Pradia, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Barton, my understanding is that this is going to be an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
That is correct, Judge, with an explanation.
Mr. Pradia, and clause 637217 on the motion to revoke community supervision. How do you plead, sir?
True.
Thank you. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court on the parties of the status of Mr. Pradia's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Pradia was placed on probation January 13th, 2022. He was reported one time since then, which was on February 14th, 2022. There has been no effort to make any payments, and he has a balance of $1,625, and he is delinquent $357. His 48 hours of community service was probated for his prior military service. He has completed a firearm safety course, the victim impact panel. However, we have no proof of enrollment or completion of the CATSNP program. He has had 3 positive drug tests for marijuana, 1 negative drug test, 2 diluted drug tests, and he has failed to submit on 8 occasions. This is his second violation report, first MTR. He has 1 prior arrest for possession of marijuana, 4 ounces to 5 pounds, and his officer is recommending that his probation be extended for a period of 3 months and that he be sent to SATF, followed by aftercare.
Mr. Barton, it looks like we've got a marijuana issue here, and the textbook solution would be inpatient drug treatment. But my understanding, and I want Ms. Gross to let us know if I'm still accurate with this, there's such a backlog or some sort of problem in Bexar County that an individual, even if they volunteered to go to the substance abuse treatment facility, would have to remain in jail for like 60 to 90 days, Susan, prior to a bed being available. Does that sound right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that, it's kind of a ridiculous option when he probably would have served his sentence and just been done with it in that amount of time. That doesn't really give him any help with his drug issue. What is the defense requesting?
Your Honor, at this time, we're not contesting the marijuana issue that you pointed out. I believe it helps with his 80% PTSD disability. It's for medicinal purposes for which he uses it for. Obviously, we're not contesting the illegality of it, but it does help him medicinally. And so at this point going forward, Judge, I know your hands are somewhat tied with the inability to sentence him to any sort of inpatient rehab. We suggest outpatient rehab, Judge. Give him an opportunity to go to some sort of outpatient program, let him complete it, and come back to the court.
Can't make him take your analysis test. I can't make him step up to the plate where I understand whether he's using or not. That's going to be a problem.
Can I add something, Judge?
Your attorney's permission, sir? Absolutely.
Go ahead, Trayvon.
On the balance for the probation, I received papers from the treasurer lady, the cashiers, for a balance of $773. I believe I had a good portion of it paid from Veterans Treatment Court. So I was instructed to pay $78 until October 28th each month. And then as far as judge, as far as the UAs goes, if I could get all the dates, I have screenshots from the call-ins with the confirmations instructing me not to go on those days. I told that to my probation officer. He said just to talk to my my attorney about it, but I never got a chance to talk to Mr. Barton about that.
Let me back up, sir. Somebody told you not to go take a UA. Is that what you're telling me?
The daily call-in.
Yeah.
When I would put my information in, I would do it online, so I could have a confirmation number. I took a screenshot of each date, and each date it would say do not test that day.
How many dates, Trayvon?
I would have to go through my photos and collect them if we have time for that. But I know it's.
Judge, I can provide you the dates in which he failed to submit.
Yeah,
Great.
that would help a lot.
Great.
Let's see. January 28th. February the 11th. February 21st, March 4th, March 9th, March 17th, March 25th, and March 29th.
No.
We lost your camera, Mr. Brady. I'm not sure what that's about.
She's going through his phone. When you go
Oh,
through
I see.
find screenshots, it disappears.
Okay.
Okay, the first one I'm seeing on record that I have is from February 21st. Then I have February 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. I have February 28th, March 1st, March 2nd, March 3rd, March 7th, March 9th, March 10th, March 11th, March 14th, March 15th, March 16th, 17th, March 18th, March 21st, March 23rd. That's it.
So, Your Honor, it definitely sounds like he was making an active attempt to show up and take these urine analysis, however, he was being told not to.
Okay, so are you telling me today, Mr. Pradia, that the timeframes that probation is telling us that you did not show up for UA, that you were not required to show up for UA? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, Judge.
So how many UAs have you taken while time you've been on this probation? Do you know?
I'm not sure how many I've taken. I maybe at least maybe 4, maybe.
Well, I show one on January 26th, and that was diluted. So do you agree you took one that day?
Yes.
All right. And then I show the same one, January 26th, and this one's positive for marijuana. Susan, how do we have 2 UAs on the same day? And one being diluted and one positive. How does that work?
Susan, you're muted.
It was diluted, but there was still enough marijuana in the sample for them to determine that it was positive for marijuana.
Okay.
And Judge, I just sent you a screenshot of all of his drug tests to your email, if you want to pull that up real quick.
I don't need that, but thank you.
And I'm showing the tests he did take are January 26th, which was diluted, February and positive for marijuana. Then February 4th, diluted. Then he had a normal one on February the 8th. And then he was positive again for marijuana on February 17th. And then in addition to that, he's had 8 skip tests. Failed to submit.
What'd you do in the military, Mr. Pradia?
Petroleum supply specialist.
You what now again? I'm sorry, sir.
Petroleum supply specialist.
Oh, okay. Did you go to Afghanistan or Iraq?
No, I didn't do any tours.
Okay, thank you. And so, Mr. Barton, what are you requesting again, please? We kind of went through all sorts of areas of discussion after that.
We're in the priority one in the alternative, Judge. We'd like you to remain him on probation, give him an opportunity to complete outpatient rehab. If in the alternative, the judge is not willing to consider that, we would ask that you sentence him to 30 days and be done.
State recommendation on Mr. Pradia?
Your Honor, the state recommends revocation.
Mr. Pradia, in class 637217, the court accepts your plea of true. I grant the state's motion to revoke your probation. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, assess a $1,000 fine plus court cost, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. You report to the Bexar County Jail at 9:00 a.m. this Friday, April the 8th, 2022. Recalling all pretrial bond requirements and conditions. That being said, I could have put you in jail for a year, Mr. Pradia. I'm giving you credit for being in the Army, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Pradia?
Nothing for the state, Judge.
Good luck, Mr. Pradia. Thank you, Mr. Barton.
Thank you, Judge. Can you put us in a breakout room?
And Todd, are we ready on Mr. Longoria?
We're ready, Your Honor.
All right. This is cause number 641-925 and 642-678. It's my understanding that class 641-340 is going to be TIC'd on one of these cases.
Correct.
Mr. Longoria, in both these cases, the first document I have, one for each case, is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference, which purports to have your signature and your attorney, Mr. Coronado's signature on it. In fact, Mr. Longoria, is this your signature on both these documents, one for cause number 641-925 and one for cause 642-678?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Coronado, as attorney for Mr. Longoria, is this also your signature on both these documents, one for each case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have on both cases, Mr. Longoria, is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions, one in case number 641-925 and one in case number 642-678. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
On both cases, I apologize. One for each case?
Yes, sir.
By signing these documents, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety? If you had any questions about what was on these documents, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney. So in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents, one for each case?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Coronado, have you had enough time to go over these cases with Mr. Longoria, and in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Longoria, are you a United States citizen?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Coronado, has the state fully complied with your request for discovery in both these cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Longoria, on cause 641-925, let's see what we're doing. Apparently, there are two different options for the defense to pick on a plea bargain. Is that correct, Mr. Villarreal?
Yes, Judge, that's correct.
Either jail time or probation. Is that kind of the two options we have?
Yes, Judge. I believe they're going with probation.
All right. Is
That's
that
correct.
All right.
That's correct, Your Honor. Probation.
So in cause 641-925 to the charge of theft, $100 to $750. How do you plead, Mr. Longoria?
I plead no contest.
Thank you, sir. And is there an agreement for Mr. Longoria in 641-925?
Yes, Judge. It is 180 days, probated over 12 months, $450 fine, court costs, proof of valid driver's license and insurance, 48 hours community service, ATSE course, no contact order with Walmart, restitution to Walmart if any, and that is to run concurrent with cause number 642678.
And we're not TIC in the case on this one, correct?
Not on this one, Your Honor.
All right, all good. And Mr. Coronado, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, it is. Was it 40 hours? 40? That's what I have.
My document shows 48 hours, but doesn't matter to me, whatever y'all agree on.
I have an email here saying 40.
All right.
For the offer.
Is that okay with you? 40 hours, 40 hours community service?
That's fine, Your Honor.
All right, all good.
So if
Okay, listen carefully, make sure I don't miss something. Mr. Longoria, in clause 641-925, the court accepts your plea of no contest. I find you guilty. I assess 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $450 fine plus court costs, requiring you to get a valid Texas driver's license and valid insurance on your vehicle, 40 hours of community service, the ATSE anti-theft course, or do you have no contact with, and Todd, I'm going to kind of lump both these probations together, either Walmart stores or Home Depot stores, and restitution, if any, to Walmart stores and Home Depot stores. This case to run concurrent with 642-678. If restitution becomes an issue, Todd, of course, we can have a restitution hearing. If they say that Mr. Longoria owes $5,000 and y'all don't think that's fair, okay?
Thank you.
No, but they're not going to say that, Mr. Longoria. I just pulled that out of the air. All right.
all right,
Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Longoria in 641-925?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
In cause 642-678, Mr. Longoria, to the charge of theft, $100 to $750. How do you plead, sir?
no contest.
Thank you, sir. And is there an agreement in 642-678?
Yes, Your Honor. 180 days, probated over 12 months, $450 fine, court costs, proof of valid driver's license and insurance, 40 hours community service, ATSE course, no contact order with Home Depot, restitution to Home Depot if any, to run concurrent with cause number 641925, and the state will take into consideration cause number 641340.
And Mr. Coronado, is that your understanding of the agreement in this case?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, let's make sure I get this one correct. Mr. Longoria, in clause 642-678, the court accepts your plea of no contest. I find you guilty. I assess 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, assessing a $450 fine plus court costs, requiring you to get a valid Texas driver's license and insurance on your vehicle, 40 hours of community service, ATSE anti-theft course, or do you have no contact with any Walmart or Home Depot stores and pay restitution, if any, to Walmart and Home Depot stores. Taking into consideration clause 641340, which is granted and it shall be dismissed. In this case, we're also running concurrent with 641-925. Is that your understanding of the agreement, Mr. Coronado?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And state, is that your understanding of the agreement on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Longoria. Thank you, Mr. Coronado. Y'all are